what we know as a violin now is a pretty specific form that the Amati family in Cremona, Italy, finalized. Andrea Amati was the forerunner of that, and Stradivarius eventually worked in the shop and took the form even further. The modern bow, as we know it, was developed and finalized by Francois Tort in Paris in probably around the year 1800, about then, with collaboration with the violinist Viotti, the soloist. He experimented with many different bows, exotic woods usually, snake wood. Pernambuco is what they settled on as being the best wood, and that came from Brazil. In fact, Pernambuco is another name for Brazil wood. So this is a bow that's a transitional bow that's copied after one that Paganini, the great soloist, used. And he would have been using this even into the 1820s, 1830s. And Andrew Dipper here in town made this bow in this style. And this is made with snake wood. It's a little shorter. And you can see that it's kind of a curved, it is convex, but it's shorter, and it's a little bit more of a swan head, I would say, some call it. Well, in the beginning of the 19th century in France, there was more demand for big concert halls. There was a development of middle class. People wanted to go see concerts, so it wasn't just a court royal privilege. So they wanted a bow that would pull a bigger sound, project more, that also pull a longer line. If you look at this bow, which is a magnificent viola bow by John Dodd, and he died 1830, so it was made before 1830. And this was in what's now the modern style that Tort and Dodd finalized. You see that there's more of a hatchet head style. So that was the big revolution in bow making.
I have two main bows that I use regularly. This is actually a newer bow to me, and it's a newer bow to the world as well. It was made last year by a woman in Paris, and it's a very ornate bow. You can see there are engravings all over the frog, and it's mounted with 14-karat gold. And it's a beautiful bow to play. It's a very smooth bow. It has a lot of power, which I like. It's a little bit heavy for me, but it's also fairly well balanced, which is, I think, the important thing. And that's actually what I love about my main bow, which is this bow. This is a Sartori, which was made, I think, in the early 20th century. This bow is it's smooth, it's beautifully balanced, it's warm, it's strong, it's powerful. When I'm thinking about good technique in my right arm, my right hand, I'm thinking about having a flexible but firm grip with the bow. So there has to be enough tension in the hand, or enough resistance in the hand, that I can actually feel what's happening at the contact point where the hair touches the string. But there also has to be enough flexibility that I can really react to what the instrument's asking me to do. And so for me, one of the most important things that I learned was when I'm at the frog, I need a loose thumb so that I can feel the tension of the string more in the back of my hand. Rather than feeling like I have to push the sound out, I can always be pulling the sound out. There's that little bit of, I always feel the string before I move the bow, and there's a little bit of give right here. There are many different bowing techniques. We can play long, smooth legato. We can play short staccato notes. We can play on the string very quickly, off the string very quickly. There's up bow staccato, where it's all in one bow. The bow that I'm holding has a much deeper, warmer sound. This modern bow has a deep sound, but it's a little bit brighter, a little bit sharper. Which can be great if I need to really project, if I'm playing something that I need to make sure I come through, but it doesn't need to be quite as delicate. Then I think the other bow is a great choice for me.
I have several bows. This one is made by a German bow maker. Most of these are German bows. This is Robert Reichel, who is from the town of Markneukirchen in Saxony, which is near Dresden, in kind of northern Germany. and it's a traditional violin-making, bow-making town. So Robert Reichel specialized in bass bows. I'm going to put some rosin on here. So it's this sticky stuff. I don't know if you can see. It's different from violoncello rosin. It's a lot stickier. It's because our strings are so much bigger, thicker, and it's hard to get them to respond. So we have the sticky rosin we put on, and then it works. Horsehair does vary, though. You want hair that's coarse. Originally, it comes from northern China and Russia. That's the best kind of hair. See, there are little barbs, microscopic barbs on the hair, and the rosin sticks to that, and then that holds onto the string when you're drawing your bow. I studied in Germany back in the early 70s, and I bought this one from my teacher when he retired. And this is made by another maker from that same town of Mark Neutkirchen. His name is H.R. Frechner, Hermann Richard Frechner. And both of these bows were probably made around later 1800s. The interesting thing about Frechner is he went to Paris to study bow making. The French made the best bows. So he decided to go there. So his bows are different from typical German-made bows. They're more delicate. See, it's a high frog, and that's what makes it a German-style bow. And I have a French bow, a French-style bow here. Belongs to my colleague Matt Frischman. So here you can see it's a much much smaller frog. So as you can see with the French bow, you do hold it overhand like this. Most players have a hooked thumb that goes in there. German bow is played underhanded, like this. Today, many American players use the French bow. There are more French bow players than German bow players. In my case, I started out on German bow.
When I think about using my bow, it's very similar to how a singer or a wind player uses their breath. So I try to breathe through my bow as I'm playing, so that the instrument can breathe, so that the sound can breathe. For me, the bow is really my voice. Like, this is the instrument, of course the instrument matters a great deal, and the left hand is incredibly important for expression, but the bow is really, I think, where the art happens.